What's up guys, Zinar here, and today I'm going to be showcasing you guys a premium deck. So for this list, it's a Lauris hybrid with Tidua and Anj. This list I've been brewing up for a couple of days since standard has been kind of slow for me and I haven't been really interested in the format. So I went back to visit premium with some of the new stuff from Sparkling Stars, and there's a lot of stuff that Bermuda can do outside of just the normal Highlander deck. So I'm going to be showcasing you guys my list as well as just the key strategies and the overall main game plan of the deck. So let's just get started. So for this section of the video, I'm just going to be talking about the key components of the cards. I will be showing a deck log at the end of the video, so you guys have a more in-depth look as to what ratios I'm playing these cards at. But overall, I'm just going to talk about the key components and then move on to some text and more other stuff later on. So first, I think the star of the show is Lauris because she has access to Somni. So Somni allows you to just get 2 force markers if your opponent is grade 2 or greater, and she allows the deck to start off its engine to be able to draw cards during main phase and to be able to get 2 force markers during the main phase, which many of the Bermuda decks cannot do very easily. So another key component of this deck is V Tidua. V Tidua is a really good rear guard that allows you to multi-attack without really needing to commit that much hand size, and the requirement is very easy of you returning 3 or more cards from either player's side or a combination of them. So this just allows Tidua to get her resend off. You're having on a double force marker, it allows you to put more pressure on your opponent. And lastly, for the grade 3s, I'm playing V Anj. So I don't run many copies in the deck, but she's a backup to Lauris, where in lists where there's literally just Lauris and Tidua, sometimes you are going to have to ride Tidua and you only get 1 force marker. But Anj, going first, if you don't have Lauris, you can get 2 force markers, as well as you're able to net some advantages through some of the other cards in my list specifically. So all 3 of them work really well together to couple each other's weaknesses. If you don't have, so say like you're going second, and you can just use Lauris to gain 2 force markers compared to just Anj only getting 1 and Tidua getting 1. Anj solves the issue of if you don't have Lauris, you can also just ride Anj your first grade 3 turn to get 2 force markers. And Tidua helps both of them by being a very good rear guard. And Somni just gives 2 force markers. So that's mainly overall the core of the grade 3s, and it's based around the deck from this trifecta of all 3 of them, plus Somni. So I'll go over now the tech cards of the deck. By tech cards, I mean actually still key important components of the deck, so sorry about that. Next, we're going to talk about this promo. So this promo was released last year, I believe, for Bermuda, and every clan has this. So she basically allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your deck if you're a grade 2 or lower, and no, grade 1 or lower, and you can search for a grade 1 or grade 2 you can add to your hand. So this is really good to be able to search out your other key components, as well as cards that search these 3. And she's also another attack extender if your opponent's grade 3 or greater. So as long as your opponent's grade 3 or greater, you're able to get her attack because she chooses a rear guard, bounces it, and you could call it. So it's a really good card to be able to search these other 2 key component cards, which is they're both grade 1s. One of them is V Senna. So V Senna allows you to search your top 5 cards of your deck, and you grab a grade 3. We also run the heal guards in his deck, so you're able to get those, and you can add to your hand to discard a card. So obviously you can get 1 of these 3 in your hand. You can search for your Restander, you can search for Anj, you can search for Lauris, and be able to compress your deck as well as she's also a 13k body or attacker. And lastly, I don't play many copies in the deck, but I'm playing Shani. So Shani is a G series card that basically allows you to search your Lauris as long as you reveal grade 3 and you discard a card from your hand. So like I said, going first, you definitely really want to get Lauris because she has a lot more like utility compared to Anj going first. But Anj, if you don't have the necessary conditions to stride into Somni, you're able to just do Anj things. And Shawnee just allows you to have Lauris in your deck, as well as if you have grade 3s you want to use, or if you play in this list at your leisure, she can also count as a stride fodder, but she does not count for Somni. It's only for when you're normal striding, not for Somni's cost. So these cards are very important, and these all work together too. These two searches your grade 3s, and she can search both of them, but also be an attack extender for both Anj and Tidua. But also she's also in her bounce for Tidua if you do so happen to get, you know, fortunate on your stride turn to be able to return them. So overall, these are like the other key components of the deck, and now I'll go on to the text. So for this section, I'm going to talk about a subset of cards I'm going to dub I'm going to coin as the discard advantage engine, or the discard engine. So first we have Top Auto Aqua from V. Simply, she allows you to return a rearguard once she's placed a Vanguard rearguard circle, bounce it, you can draw a card and discard a card. Basically, she allows you to reuse your Sennas, reuse your Shawnees if you want to, or any other card in the list. So I will explain in a bit why she's really important to the list. Next, I played Saria in the list. Saria came out a while ago, well, a couple years ago. Basically, like Senna, she's able to discard a card from your hand when she's placed. You can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add a card from one of them to your hand. So with this, she's able to obviously dig through your deck. And she can also get power. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, she gets 10k. If not, she gets plus 5. So both of these are really good to be able to search. But the issue with both of them is you have to discard a card. Well, we recently got a card as Sparkling Stars. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but this grade 2 specifically, when it's discarded during your turn, if you're grade 2 or greater, you can almost want to call this back out, but it cannot attack until the rest of the turn if it's during battle phase. And if you return a rearguard during your turn, it gets boost. This card, as well as Justine's ability is Soul Blast 1. When this unit's discarded during your turn, you call this to an open rearguard circle. Now they both have different, because you can call this anywhere, but this can only be called an open. But all 4 of these together, if you search any combination of both of them, or either of the pair, you're able to essentially start plussing without really using that much counterblast. Granted, it is a 2-card combo, but all of them combined with how Tidua and Anj works. With Tidua, she benefits from, obviously she benefits from the drawing too, but she benefits really from them because you're able to call them during your turn, and your Bermuda, you always bounce. So you're able to just call cards during your battle phase. And Anj definitely benefits because from your stride turns, you're able to call them to your board to be able to extend your attacks, and you're able to, you know, dig more and use this combo during the battle phase as well. If you call a Saria during your turn, you're able to just call one of these, and this also gets boosted as a 10k booster. So I'm calling this a discard engine, but all 4 of these cards work really well together. And if you get any pair of them post grade 2, you're able to just start gaining some advantage while needing to CB, which is really, I think that's really strong for just this list or any other combination in the future. So with that, yeah, all 4 of these cards is really good. I was really surprised with the grade 2. Next, this is more so a defensive engine in the deck. You do not have to play this in your deck if you do not feel like, if you don't really like having a defensive style in this list. So I'm playing Pumo. Pumo has the ability to call a card from your hand to an open rearguard circle, and she gets 5k shield at the cost of GB1. So this allows you to do the defensive plays, like calling a card during your opponent's battle phase. Now we have 2 cards from Standard, which are Esther and Roboa. So Esther allows you to essentially bounce away your opponent's front row rear guards, but it also has a cheeky feature of when you can soul blast a trigger, and she can get plus 5k for every front row rear guard circle your opponent has. So against a cell death, she can actually get pretty big. Or if your opponent likes to clear the board a lot, she can actually just be a 10k attacker, which is really nice. And Roboa, she's simply in the list just to bounce my opponent's front row rear guards to do these pseudo denial plays. Now, like I said, you don't have to play this package in the list, but it's really good for turns where an opponent could just extend and just keep attacking and you don't have that much shield. You can actually just do this combo without the need of Citron, which Citron basically allows you to call a grade 1 or greater, so you can call Esther or Roboa during your opponent's turn, and you can simply do that, but this causes a G guard. This, you can do this without a G guard as long as you're a GB1, so you don't have to play this package as well. It's just something optional you can do if you're lacking defense, or you're playing more cards for drawing. So overall, I do like this package in the deck. It doesn't take too much space, and it's really good in situations where I need to stop a certain multi-attack from happening to my opponent. The last two cards are separate. It's not really a package. First, I want to talk about Spiana. Spiana is a V-Series card. When she's placed on Rigor Circle, you can basically choose a grade 3 or greater. I think it's just grade 3. Yeah, sorry. A grade 3 unit on your rear guard or vanguard, and you can choose that card from your drop zone, place it to your bottom of your deck, and you can countercharge 1. So this deck can be a bit counterblast heavy. You can play more copies of this card, but there are times where you would like to CC in this deck. So you can also return your heals as long as you have a heal guard on your rear guard circle and a heal guard in your drop zone, because it's a grade 3. So you can essentially return your heals and heal more, as long as you can bounce your heal. But I think Spiana is just a good tech choice in this list, especially since all 3 of them use Counterblast and your strides use Counterblast as well. And lastly, for the only order in the deck other than Sanctitude is Ladder. So Bermuda is very rearguard focused, and you kind of want to multi-attack and to be protected. So Ladder is really important, especially since we have ways of searching Ladder with Setna, and like I said, with the whole discard package of Aqua, you're able to just dig through it. So it protects your rear guards from being, you know, like Denial Griffined, bound, or targeted from effects, and you're able to just, you know, have a very safe turn with Ladder on. Now I will explain a few strides that I play in my list. I'm not going to go over all of them, just to explain why I'm playing it. So first, I am playing a Miracle Voice Lauris. Now there is a specific reason why I'm playing Miracle Voice Lauris. No, Celebrate. It's not Miracle, Celebrate. In the list is because we have the crits. This crit specifically, if you have a Lauris on your Vanguard circle, you can put it into the soul, and you can draw a card and give your Vanguard +5. Now this in particular, not only does you get the Lauris name from Tidua and Anj, because when you stride over it, you get the name of both cards, so this is technically a Lauris. But also you're able to extend your plays because of this. Now, there are many times where I've used Lauris, the stride, to be able to just recoup my board, because it's a very cheaper option than using something like the stride Anj, which this is CB2, but you get a lot more advantage than Lauris. But regardless, you're able to bounce your board back. You can instantly proc Tidwell in your main phase, which is really good, because the only other strides are able to do that is Anj and Auk, which we don't play Auk because we don't have enough armor units. So because of that, you're able to instantly proc Tidua. You're able to be on Lauris while you're on Anj if you got another force marker, to get another force marker. And this card can get a crit if you play it right, or play any other Harmony cards, but it's not really for the crit. It's really just to reset your board. It's like half of an Anj turn, but you don't waste as much CB. you still get the same utility, and you get the name. You get equal as much advantage if you have this crit. So overall, this is like the only other like weird stride that you might see in the list that doesn't really make any sense, but it's more so for refixing my board and to get more advantage throughout that way. Now, another card I do want to briefly talk about is Olivia. So this card was the very first like real GR, or like the main stride for Bermuda, but I think she aged incredibly well, actually. Compared to Alk, which needs harmony units, this doesn't. And there are a lot of games where you could just attack a lot of times. Maybe your opponent's deck doesn't have any like retire front mode removal. If you have a Tidua with the grade 2 to get more multi-attack, you're able to do a lot of combos and a lot of attacks, while also the Vanguard has a crit. So, like I said, if you have the discard package, you're able to refill your board back up if you discard during the battle phase. It's just a really nice card to have in case where you want to pressure your opponent, but not necessarily kill them, but to just remove cards from their hand, because she is 2 crit. And compared to Standard, even though Standard has a lot of Premium has a lot of shield, you still do not want to take 2 crit regardless to your face, even if it is very small. So Olivia's been really well in the deck to just get more multi-attack, and also to be able to proc Tidwell during your battle phase as well. So yeah, this is the rest of the list of all the other cards that I played in the deck. I do play Sanctitude in the list, and I played obviously the Trudies to be able to stride while having to discard for Tidwell or Anj. But this also could be the slot of some other card if you want like the Insult crit to get more consistent drawing, which is an option I've been thinking about. But overall, the list is very flexible. Other than the key cards I explained earlier in the deck, I think this list is very open to experimentation and just anyone trying their own variant for it. For me, I haven't really done any like super competitive play testing, but I've done enough play testing to understand how this list would like to work. So in the hands of a better player or a better deck builder, you could definitely take this to the next level. And I think so far, like all the grade 3s, like Anj, Tidua, Lauris do work together in their own different niches. It's just figuring out how you use it and how you pilot the deck against other decks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making this one. And let me know if you like this style of deck profiles of the key cards into other cards in the deck, to explain it more in thorough and just showing a deck list in the end. So with that being said, I'm Zenarion, and I'm signing off.